Very good afternoon to all the members, and we are here once again on the week 11th of our journey. Yes. So now we have come far a long way up till now, and I think everybody will agree that it's been a long journey, and we have covered a lot of stuff. We have covered a lot uh, distance in our journey of incubation and entrepreneurship. And now we are slowly reaching reaching the closure of this particular course. So, excluding today, we have one more week 12 content which is left, and there is an extra session which we are planning to conduct very soon, probably tomorrow. And so, I believe that all of you have been able to match the pace of the course content by going through the content, by regularly attending those new contents, and submitting the assignments which have been week wise. And all of the students who are expecting a certificate need to complete those things. So I believe that is also happening in parallel. You are diligently uh, submitting those assignments because those are crucial for your certification, which will be given at the end. Right. So, as I mentioned, that we have covered a lot of distance in terms of course, in terms of knowledge, in terms of understanding, what is entrepreneurship, how you can proceed with entrepreneurship, what are the various hand-holding agencies which are present, which can guide you in your journey of entrepreneurship. So I believe the content in itself is a complete package which can guide you, which can mentor you in developing all the required skill set in terms of getting new learnings from those who have already been there in this journey, by those experiences, by those talks, by those panel sessions that have been really insightful for all those who are planning to enter into this entrepreneurship course and their journey of startup. And I think if you have been following the course diligently, then it has a lot to offer. And as I said, like if you're doing it for certification, I think then also, these are like lifelong learnings. Like Professor Anil Gupta says, everybody can become an entrepreneur in himself. We can inculcate that kind of habits, risk-taking habits, helping others develop, So those are the things are not only important as an entrepreneur, but also, these are life skills. How do you live a good life with good relations. I think from that perspective also, there is a lot of learning involved in this particular course, right? So, as we do in every class, we will be going through the slide deck and our presentation for today. Like I said, there is an extra session which is probably tomorrow. I believe the mail with from the NPTEL team will come soon about it. So it will be a 1 hour session. And this is meant to be the extra session wherein we will try to give you certain more information about the examination, right? Uh, so let's begin with our course now. I'll share my screen. So I hope my screen is visible, and yes, it is visible. Great. So welcome to week 11th. This is the second last week, and probably next week our journey of problem solving sessions will be over. So so now we can realize that we have covered a long distance, a lot of learnings, a lot of content, a lot of questions, a lot of assignments, and here we are at the second last session of the course Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship. The course instructor is Professor V.K. Chakravarti sir, and I am Abhishek. I am your TA for this course. A little background of me is that I'm an architect and industrial designer from School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. And after completing my Bachelor's of Architecture and Master's of Industrial Design degree, I joined Infosys as a user interface designer, and I worked there for 2.5, 3 years, and then I shifted to another company. It's called Think Design, and I worked in the Delhi branch of it. And after that, I had my own startup. So along with my partner, we ran the startup, which stayed almost 2.5, 3 years, wherein we were giving consultancy and design services. We were also practicing upcycling, and we participated in a lot of maker shows, maker melas, and we exhibited our products made up of recycled and reclaimed wood. So that was about our startup and entrepreneurial journey. And parallel to this journey, also started teaching at few design institutions like the Department of Design at SPA, World University of Design and UP Institute of Design in Noida. And so, after around 8 to 9 years of experience in both the fields, as a teacher, academician, and educator, and as a design professional, I took up the research journey wherein I started my PhD, which is the Doctor of Philosophy journey at Department of Design IT Roorkee. And we were the first batch of PhD at the Department of Design IT Roorkee. And currently I'm in my fourth year, and I'm hopeful that this journey is soon gonna end as well. Probably this or next year it will be completing, I believe. So with that brief introduction, let's proceed with our week 11th of this particular course. So, like we have been following through every week and every session, we have a set of protocol slides. If you have been attending these sessions, probably you may sit and relax for a while now, because we are going to repeat the slide deck. The intent of repeating the slide deck is that we never know when a new learner joins in, and we want that the learnings and the important info should be available at each and every week. So even if you are attending just one live session, then also you will have the same depth of knowledge about protocol slides and certain other aspects. The only thing which will be left is will be your set of questions, and that you can refer with the PDF version as well, or the uploaded videos, right? So these live sessions are there to help you in the current run of course. These are complementary sessions wherein we try to address the challenges, the concerns, the doubts, if there are any. And we also explore a new set of questions which are pertaining to that week. So, as you see here, we have written week specific assignments. So, today it's week 12. So, we'll be referring to, week 11. So, we'll be referring to the week 11 content. And plus, we will be discussing a set of 10 questions, set of and new questions. Okay, so that you can broaden up your learning as well, and you can also get a more variety of questions, so that when you are appearing for your final examination, then probably these questions will also help you, and you never know, the question might come up from this set of 10 questions. Okay, now these set of 10 questions are different from the live assignment. Why? Because the live assignments are there to assess you, to track your progress, and the weightage is also considered while calculating your overall marks. Okay. Now the weightage may be less, it's only 25%, but that also is important because you have to score more than 10 marks out of 25. So although the weightage is less, but still they have critical value. Okay, so you need to have marks more than this value, so that at least you are getting the certificate. So from a certification perspective also, these life assignments are very, very important. Okay, What we also do is we respond to the questions and queries which are asked by the learners of this course. There are various ways of asking those queries, and we'll discuss that. We also do a content recap of the ongoing week. So what we do is that we have a visual summary wherein we take the screenshots of the PPT and we just run through those visual summaries so that we are able to recall the course content. All right. And I personally believe that these have been very, very helpful, and probably it's because the images, that talks a lot, and it could actually help you trigger, what was the content about, things like that. So there are certain ethics which we request everybody to follow. Till now, most of the sessions we have been seeing that everybody has followed these ethics and decorum. So what is expected is that we avoid any kind of unnecessary noise and disturbances, and that is why we request everybody to please keep yourself on mute. However, when we are asking questions or whenever there is a doubt, you can please unmute yourself in those scenarios and you can speak up. So that is perfectly fine. But in the overall run of course, it could be better if everybody puts their mic on mute because we are also recording these sessions. And once these are recorded, these are also uploaded on YouTube. Right. So to have a better sound experience, sound quality, and avoiding any kind of unnecessary noises is always preferable that everybody is on mute. Okay. Uh, we have been discussed about the discussion forum. It's a functionality which is available in the NPTEL platform. The moment you log in, you will be able to see a tab called Ask a Question. And actually, you can post a question over here. It comes up with a timestamp of the video. And once you write the question, it is triggered to all the three types of stakeholders in the discussion forum, which includes NPTEL team members, then all the learners of this course, and me as a TA, right? So whenever there is a question which is triggered, we all get notified. And when I reply, if I do a reply all, then everybody will get to know what the answer or whatever clarification is required, right? So it is also a great way of, disseminating the right thing, the right answer, or clarifying the doubt because, that doubt can be in minds of many other learners as well. And once you post a question in discussion forum, it is available to all, and everybody gets notified about it as well. Okay. And the moment when I reply to it, then again there is a notification to all the registered members. So everybody gets to know that what are our comments with respect to that particular question or whatever query or concern which has been raised. So all these presentations are being uploaded. These are all being recorded and uploaded at a particular location. And the idea is that whenever you get time, you can actually go through the content at your own speed, at your own pace. So when I say that, which means that all these YouTube videos, you can set a playback speed and you can vary the speed and go as fast as 1.5x, sorry, twice 2x speed, right? So all these content are available on my YouTube channel, and all the presentations are converted to PDFs, and these are again uploaded into the Google Drive, which is having a shared access. So anybody with the link can actually access these presentations, and both the things are available in your problem solving session tab. So the moment you click here, you will be able to see this. When you will be clicking here, it will lead you to a spreadsheet content. By spreadsheet, I also mean that it's more like an Excel format, which has tables, right? You have rows and columns, and every week content, it is available and sent to its week, right? So all the week-wise content are available in the form of YouTube videos. However, the PPTs which are converted into PDFs are available at a common drive location. Okay, so these are not week specific. We have just one common folder, and in that folder you can actually access all the presentations in one go. Okay, so up till now this will be having PDFs from week 1 to week 10, and today we'll be uploading the week 11th. Okay, attendance. So the course name is Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship. It's by Professor V.K. Chakravarti sir. Now a little brief about sir is that he did his PhD from IIT Delhi, and he also taught there. And after that, he came to IDC, IIT Bombay. He's an educator here, and then he also headed the DIC, which is the Design Innovation Center. And now he is at the Mahindra University, and he is basically nurturing the School of Design there. Okay, so that is his current affiliation as of now. The course duration has been 12 weeks, and we are here at the week 11th, and the deadline for week 11th is 9th of April. Okay, so you still have few days left to submit this assignment. Please do it because the better you score, we consider the best 8 assignments. So, if you're able to score 100, that will be like the best which you can do from your end. All right. So the final exam date as of now is 27th of April, right? It is this month itself. Okay. So we have entered the month of April. Today is 5th, I believe. Yeah. So today is 5th, and you've got almost 22 days from now. So I would suggest that you can start preparing. These examinations will either happen in the first half or the second half, which is pre-lunch or post-lunch. And as you're all aware, it will be a physical venue-based examination. What I mean by physical venue-based is that you will have to reach the exam center physically, and you'll have to attempt that paper probably on a computer-based format. And that has been the idea of the NPTEL thing, right? Hmm. Okay. So now in terms of progress, I think now you'll be able to have a more holistic look at how we have progressed till now. So there is unit-wise progress, there is assessment scores, and there is also the certification and grading policy. So this, anyways, we will be dealing in a separate slide. However, if you talk about unit-wide progress and assessment scores, so this basically shows how far you have seen the content. So the blue ones filled shows that you have seen the content. The grayed out ones are the ones which you have not been able to see or watch, right? And assessment score is basically your assignment score. So from week 1 to probably week 10, you would be able to see your scores. For any reason, if the scores are not visible, you can please raise a concern or query with the NPTEL team so that you are able to see the marks of your week-wise assignment, because these marks will only be add up under a certain weightage to your final score, the overall score. All right. Now the course is completely free to learn from. However, if you need a certificate which mentions about the scores, your marks, and which can be considered for other prospects, then you need to enroll for the examination. So the examination fee was around rupees 1000 per exam, and there was a fee waiver which was almost 50% to those who belong to the SSC category and the PWD category, which is persons with disabilities. So you have to provide those certificate, you have to upload that, and once approved, you can actually avail this fee waiver, right? And there was an extension for the exam registration, which was till March 3. That date is already gone by. But just for information's sake, I'm telling. So that has been the examination fees. There is also a prospect of late fee, in which if you register for the examination between 24th Feb till March 3, then that late fee would have been applicable. The criteria to get a certificate. Now, this basically is an overall sum of 25% plus 75%, so that your overall score is 100%. This comes through your week-wise assignments, and this is from your final examination, which is a venue-based examination, right? So it has obviously more weightage than your week-wise assignments, which you're appearing at from your home. Now, here you have to score more than 10 out of 25. Here you have to score more than 30 so that your overall score is more than 40 out of 100. So this is the underlying principles which will be followed once your certification has to be decided upon. So mind it that there are few scenarios which you always talk about. For example, you score 15 out of 25, 35 out of 75. Your overall score is 50 out of 100. So this is the ideal score. I mean, you are managing to clarify all the underlying algorithms, conditions, and you are getting the scorecard as well as the certification. Now comes scenario like you score 525, but you score 50 out of 75. Your overall score is 55 out of 100. Now you are perfect on these two conditions, but you are failing on these conditions, so no certificate will be offered. Again, you scored 25 out of 25, but you scored 20 out of 75. Your whole score is 45 out of 100. So, which means that you have done extremely well here, but you fell short of 10 marks because this needs to be greater than 30. So, you failed here. So, although your whole score is above 40, but you will not get the certificate. Why? Because you are not meeting one of the internal conditions, which was greater than this or greater than 30. So you have to satisfy both the criterias, both internals and external criteria. So you have to satisfy both so that you are able to pass through your overall score. This is how we have progressed from our week 1 to week 4. We started with the very basic of understanding entrepreneurship and what is evidence-based entrepreneurship, and some basic questions. Why startups fail, what are the mistakes by a startup, and then we transitioned into week 2, in which there was a panel discussion and journey of Mustafa, who is from the ID Batter group. Then we went to understand the Chakku 7C, or the 7 concerns, right from cause to connect. And then we progress to understanding the Solar Oven case study. Sorry, Solar Oven case study. Okay, some problem at that. It's too sensitive. By Mr. Avinash. Wait, yeah, okay. So let me just clear all the unnecessary things. All right, no issues. Solar case study by Mr. Avinash, who was an alumni from IIT Bombay, and he had taken up this project of Solar One. And then the student project from IIT Hyderabad. Then we move on to the week 5, where we discussed about the healthcare and innovation. So we saw the medtech success stories. Then we moved on to human-centered innovation, wherein we had Ms. Shilpi and Mr. Dhayan who talked about their experiences from their studios. In the week 7, we understood the humanizing technology aspect and business model canvas, followed by the sign incubator and the success story of Attenborough, where Mr. Manish Meena had to talk about his early struggles and how did he arrive at Attenborough, right? And then came the week 9, week 10, week 11, wherein we understood about CHFE. I take the services which are available at IIT Hyderabad. And then we had week 10 about the corporate to entrepreneurship, creative ideation, building proof of concept. And then came the week 11, which is now about the project presentation by IIT Hyderabad students. So they are basically making a business pitch to the expert, and the experts are sharing their perspective on how they have performed well. And then, in terms of additional learning material, you have inspiring stories of female entrepreneurs, Shiroz, Mama, and Sepalika. So, if you get time, please read about them if you are getting that kind of time. Okay. So, as you can see, we have just one vacant space left, and that is for the week 12th. And we'll be arriving on that content the very next week. Okay. So by far, I think everybody would have understood the two typology of questions that are being asked. One is the single correct answer questions, which are like radio button questions. So only one answer is correct in them. But when you see square box, it means that there are multiple correct answers. All right. So you can actually select multiple of them. It can be two, it can be three, or it can be all four. But here you can just select one. So that has to be the correct one. Otherwise, you lose your marks in attempting that question. Okay. So the marking of multiple choice questions, I would suggest you to take a minute or so to just read it, and then we will be discussing it. So I believe you have gone through the content. Okay. So we'll understand through this example. So the question is, which among the below are the IPL teams this year? So the first one is Lucknow Super Giants, LHC. Then you have Chennai Super Kings. Then you have Royal Challengers Bangalore. Then you have Madhya National Surat. Okay. So if you are following IPL, you will know the correct answers. The correct answers are A, B, C. Okay. So these are the correct answers. Now let's take scenarios one by one. So let's take the first scenario in which you select the correct answer. So you selected A, B, and C, and you submitted it. You'll get full marks. All right, let's take scenario two. If at least one incorrect answer has been chosen. So here the incorrect answer is option D. So if I select A, B, and D, A, C, and D, B, D, A, D, things like that. So if there is D in my answer, then I will get no marks because I've chosen the incorrect answer. So let's take scenario three. If only correct answers are chosen, but not all correct answers are chosen. So which means that if I select A, C, and I submit it, A, B, and I submit it, okay? Or if I select A, if I select B, or if I select C, or if I select BC, right? So all these are the correct answers, one of the correct answers. So in these scenarios, I'll be getting proportional marks of how I have performed. Okay. So if I have a choice of two correct answers, probably I'll get marks in decimals 0.66. If I've just selected one of them, I'll get 0.33. Right. So in your progress, when you are seeing your assessment scores, if it is coming in decimal, then it is probably because of this underlying principle. Okay. I believe it is fair and clear to everyone. Okay. So these were the consistent GMAT learners. I'm happy that few of them have been really consistent and joining in each and every session. So a big applause to you and many congratulations. So keep coming in, keep learning, and perform great in your final examination. Okay. Now we are heading towards content recap. So it will be like quick quick run through of what we saw. So if you have seen the content, then again you can sit and relax for a while. Once this is complete, we'll start our set of 10 questions. Right. So we had Mr. Professor PVM Rao, who is from IT Delhi and who also headed the Department of Design. Although the Department of Design, IT Delhi, the HOD has been changed to Professor Jyoti Kumar. So he is now the ex-head, you can say, and he was also handling the Design and Innovation Center operations at IIT Delhi. And he is a very renowned figure in the Department of Design. So that is also. Just give me a minute. Huh? And here we saw the first team, which was C together. So all these students when you see are from IIT Hyderabad. These are all the MS students, and these have been their faculty and project mentors. Okay, so C together was the team, and this was their mission with an aim to come up with a physical and digital product for blind and visually impaired. She'll be assisting them in their day-to-day activities. Okay, so it was more like a mobile app in which they were trying to bring sight to the blind and visually challenged people. So visually challenged, visually impaired, these are one and the same thing. So their aim was to build an app that connects the blind and low vision with the sighted volunteers for visual assistance through a live video call. So you can have your smartphone and get out on your camera through the app, and they can ask, what is the color of this dress, what are the patterns on the dress, and a sighted volunteer can say that, okay, this is a green colored dress which has floral patterns, which has birds and parrots here, right? So a person who is blind or with low vision can actually then visualize and try and visualize that, and then can make a decision that, okay, probably this is the dress I want to buy. Or it can be as simple as what is there in the street, what all signboards do you see, and is it heavily rushed, or so things like that. That was their intent of connecting the two user groups, one which is blind and visually impaired, visually challenged, the other which are sighted individual sighted volunteers, and they were basically trying to help them. Okay. And they also provided incentives so that the volunteers feel motivated to onboard on this app and to help people in this. So there was this thing like 50 assist, and you can get a certificate for this initiative, and likewise. uh, so this was the feedback given. We'll not get into the detail of it. So these were the motivations for using the product, which is live assistant at odd hours. Assistance in regional languages, that was also very critical. It's also very critical because NEP allows you, motivates one to, please teach in the regional language. Limit frustrations with the AI, because AI is there, but there's challenging, and make genuine friendships. So most of the time, these people are visually impaired. They don't have lot many people to talk to. So, that was also a very interesting feature aspect of their offering. So this was their value proposition. And, live assistant at odd hours, because the volunteers are helping you from the convenience of their home. Okay, they are not roaming around. They are basically stationed at their home, and through the app, they are able to see and they are able to guide the visually challenged people. Okay, and the app would help you connect with the people who have the understanding of regional languages. So, if you're a Malayali, then probably they will connect you to a person who speaks Malayalam, and then the regional language connect will be much more transparent. Also, there's a trust factor which is associated. You feel much more homely, much more comfortable talking to people in the regional language. So that was also a very interesting insight. And then the aspect of keeping record of transactions and safety and security. So they also had colorblind mode to alter the color scale, customize settings to invert colors in raw sticks. Because why this feature is important? Because as you grow old, and elderly people, they generally have sight issues, so it's very hard to read the text which are small. So these are very much critical. Likewise, this feature of screen magnifiers, these basically what we do is they magnify the content. So if Ian is written, then probably I will be able to see like this. It magnifies the content. And these were the feedback of Professor PVM Rao. And then there was Rupesh Khair, who was also there. If you remember, he was also making the comment, to the presentation. And this was the business thesis. So the team and app name is See Together, and the broad area is to help the blind and visually challenged people by connecting them with the sighted individuals. So that is the brief area of them. Then came Mr. Purushottam Kaushik. He was also uh, providing and offering feedback to one of the groups, and the group was based. These are the students from ID Hyderabad MDes, and then these are the mentors which were assigned to them. Mr. Professor Kostab and Professor Prasad Unkar. He is from ID Hyderabad. So this is the lean canvas which they built around, and they pivoted their problem statement from stress among people in office hours to how might we help offices make their employees work life better and stress free. They saw their existing competitors or alternatives which is there, and what are the limitations around them. And then there was feedback from the experts and the mentors, and these were responded by the spaced team. So we'll not get into all those things, but you can. So now this thing we can read. So it was a service based app, offering, wherein it helps finding ways to make life for office employees stress free and happy and satisfied while working. Okay, who belongs to the focus group or works at odd hours to increase the efficiency and work in better productivity. The chances of errors by the employees. All right. Then came the third team, which was Focus Focus. Very interesting and catchy name, although it was again questioned by the expert who had joined in. So these are the students who worked around this, and they had a very interesting model, the cherry icing and the bread model. So cherry is usually at the top, and then comes the icing, and then comes the bread. So the most critical ones and the need ones are here at the bottom. Okay. Then these are like valuable, but not crucial. And then these are like complementary features. If you have it, that's great. Otherwise, it's fine. All right. So that is how they segregated their features: visual, physical, and sensory, to all these three criteria, which are like the critical ones, and the valuable ones, and the complementary ones. And this was their proposition, which was a headgear with a targeted micro vibration to create tactile sensations for better focus during meditation. So their area was, how to trigger the practice of meditation among the various kinds of people. Then they have the range of projects. They envisioned that there could be Zen cafes, focus Zen cafes, and clinical applications. And then there were comments by Purushottam. And if you see, he also mentions hocus pocus as a name can be rethought if it is hitting the right chord in terms of what's being communicated. Okay. So that was the impact there. And then came Professor Dinesh Kurjan and Professor Nakul and Professor Deepak John Matthew. And they gave the feedback to the team Maverick, which was about improved academic performance, increased motivation, and the ability to manage themselves. So, wherein they provided and offered these kind of games, right? And they had a very interesting video. So, to get an essence of the game, you can actually watch the video and you will understand, what was the game about. So the hypothesis was the parents tend to be more careful and limiting both in terms of free play as well as guiding their children and helping them through the expected development stages. So this was their part of research study where they meet different kind of people. These are like the various stakeholders. Okay, these are the various stakeholders. What was the insights and what are the observations they had? And they also did verification. Although their user group was children, but because of the COVID time, they had to take feedback from their peers. Then there was the feedback by the Professor Dinesh and Professor Nakul and Professor Shahid as well. Okay. So the business thesis is that they had an interactive game which helps parents and play school teachers who wants to engage their kids in tangible products to increase independent learning in toddlers and by inspiring them to be more creative, unlike digital platforms. So we have Mr. Professor Anuradha Narasimha, who is the professor of practice at IIT Bombay and worked with various high-profile companies affiliated with ID, IM, and she contributed a lot. And then Professor Pierre M. Sati, who is a teacher at the Nanyang Technical University, NTU, which is in Singapore. And they gave feedback to this product on Minimart. Okay, so this was their team and their solution. It allowed kids to enjoy maths by creating real-time scenarios of how maths works in daily life, everyday life. So they had this kind of a game proposition, and they had basically aimed at one of the subjects, which was math. So it was aiming to create maths being more fun rather than the teaching aspect. This was the feedback given. So Minimart helps teacher and parents lower the anxiety of learning mathematics in children to help them understand its application, and reduce the math anxiety unlike traditional classroom teaching. Okay. So now comes the set of 10 questions. We'll just take a 5-minute break. Right? We have covered a lot of things. We'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll start our journey set of 10 questions. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll keep the question in front of you and then you can think about it. And after the break, we can actually continue. Okay. So we'll continue with our set of 10 questions. Okay. So I'll share my screen once again, and here we are at the very first question. So the question is, according to Professor P.V.M. Rao, what are the major aspects to consider while addressing the needs of visually challenged? Okay, so that's the question. Now, who is Professor Rao? Professor Rao is from IIT Delhi, right? He's from IIT Delhi, and he was a mentor to one of the teams uh, who were basically from C together. Okay. So he is saying that there are some major aspects to consider while addressing the needs of visually challenged. So visually challenged is those who have limited vision, low vision, or they are visually impaired. Okay. So while addressing the needs of those people, what are some major aspects? Okay. Visually challenged is दृष्टिबाधित. So the aspects which are mentioned as an options are independence, color choices, social integration, and language learning. यानी कि भाषा भाषा सीखना उनके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है. समाज में उनका इंटीग्रेशन, जो रंग है उनकी चॉइसेस और स्वतंत्रता. All right. So you have to tell me what are the correct aspects. It's a multi-choice question which has multiple correct answers, so there could be more than one correct answers to this. The options are related to independence, which is स्वतंत्रता, color choices, रंग से इसका लेना देना है, social integration, समाज में आपका इंटीग्रेशन कैसे हो, एंड लैंग्वेज लर्निंग, भाषा को कैसे आप सीख सकते हैं. सो इनमें से व्हाट आर द मेजर एस्पेक्ट्स कंसिडर व्हाइल एड्रेसिंग द नीड्स ऑफ विजुअली चैलेंज्ड. सो दृष्टिबाधित जो लोग हैं उनके लिए व्हाट आर द मेजर एस्पेक्ट्स टू कंसिडर एज पर प्रोफेसर पीवीएम राव. Okay. Major aspects. So now is the time you can text in the chat box and we can have a look whatever options which you think. So we've got one vote for option C and one vote for option D, which is social integration and language learning. All right. We'll see if others would like to have a say on it. Anybody who would want to communicate, anyone else? All right, let's do the screen validation. So these were the comments by Professor PVM Rao. So he says, as the product does not require much investment but more time volunteering, there is an opportunity. So first he appreciates the concept. Okay. Instead of saying AI or human, you can give a choice. There will be different types of people who would like to use AI and a human in various proportions. So he says that you can give that offering and that choice to the user that whether he would like to get AI assistance or from a sighted volunteer, and let the people choose. Right. So some people are comfortable with the AI based assistance, and some people are would need to talk to the sighted volunteers. You can also give the option to either choose from volunteer work or work in return of a remuneration. So that is from the perspective of sighted volunteers. So let it be a choice to the volunteers whether they would want to work as a volunteer or they would want to expect some kind of remuneration. All right. And then the products designed for visually challenged people are also used by other people. For example, people with vision and low vision unable to read can also use the product. It is better to make the product universal. So rather than tagging it that it is only meant for visually challenged or visually impaired, it can be made a more of a universal product. In the offering can be more of a universal thing. Okay. So then he says we usually look at one use case, but when you interact with more people, you realize many more use cases are suitable. The two major aspects are to make them independent and socially integrate them, right? So these are the two major aspects which Professor Rao is suggesting, which is the first one is the independence and the second one is social integration. So the correct answers are A, which is independence, and C, which is the social integration. So the two major aspects to consider while designing and addressing the needs of visually challenged, as per Professor Rao, is how to make them independent and how to integrate them socially, right? So these are the correct answers. All right. Let's proceed with our second question. According to Dr. Rupesh Ghayar, what was his advice to the team C together working to address the needs of visually challenged? So Dr. Rupesh was also there as one of the mentors and expert, commenting on the work of the team C together. Okay. So what was the advice given to them? A, looking at the visually challenged as investors, looking at the visually challenged as employers, as customers and potential buyers, and as volunteers. So essentially it is about looking visually challenged as investors, employers, customer and potential buyers, and as volunteers. So which of them is the correct answer? You have to tell me. There are four options and there are multiple correct answers to it. Okay. So you have to think and tell me. So we have got votes for B, C, and D. All right. All right. Let's wait if anyone else would want to share a comment to it. Okay. The question is about Dr. Rupesh, who is an expert and who is advising the team C together. Now, C together, if you remember, it is those which connect the visually challenged with the sighted volunteers. Okay, so that was their proposition. How it is connected? It is connected through mobile application. Okay, so he's advising that we should look this particular group as either investors, employers, customer and potential buyers, and as volunteers. Now let's see. So the first thing is that volunteers need to be sighted. Okay, volunteers have to be people who have vision. Okay, so that is not possible. So visually challenged, it will be hard for them to be a volunteer. So obviously D cannot be the correct answer. Now comes these three aspects. So they can be investors, they can be people who are at good positions, They can be employers as well, right? That is also true. They can also be customers and potential buyers. So these three can be potential answers. However, volunteers is not, because you need to be having a site, because their proposition says that you need sighted volunteers, right? So visually challenged cannot be a volunteer. So one is that. So options would be correct between A, B, and C. Now let's see the screen validation. Okay. Now this says Dr. Rupesh is saying there are around 12 million visually impaired people in India. Being such a large number of people, they can by themselves become a pool of customers who have buying power. Okay, so they can become customers who have buying power, and considering them as customers rather than people who can be different a way of looking. Okay, so I'll be back in a minute. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Huh? So there's something which I need to take care of. I'll be back in a minute. Okay. Meanwhile, you can just go through this thing. Okay. So we are here with Dr. Rupesh, and let's see the correct answer. The correct answers was, for this particular question, which we are referring to as what were the advice given to the team C together by Dr. Rupesh. So it, as we discussed, it has to be between option A, B, and C. So the correct ones are looking visually challenged as investors who can invest their money on this particular startup, and looking them as customers and potential buyers, right? So this is the correct answer for this question. Before we move on to the next question, let me just check whether the recording is still going on. Yes, yes, it's going on. Perfect, perfect. Now we are proceeding to our third question. Okay. So the team of Project Maverick, okay, mentioned about Magda's Gerber's philosophy of children as RIE, which is, okay. So we are talking about the team Maverick, okay, and they mentioned about this Magda's philosophy for children as RIE. You need to tell me what RIE is. Okay, it's a little tricky question. It is not as explicit as you would see it from the content points of view, but then it is a probable question, right? So, is it respect for infant education? Is it resources for infant educators? Is it rise of entrepreneurship, or rethink the incubation and entrepreneurship? Take some time, think about it. What could be the correct answer? We are talking about Magda's philosophy for children as RIE. What do you think RIE is? Take some time and let me know what is the correct answer. We're talking about RIE as per what Project Mavericks had utilized as a philosophy. So we are again talking about Project Maverick and in terms of the philosophy. So what was the RIE which was talked about? You have to tell me what was the correct answer. Is it the respect for infant education? Is it resources for infant educators? Is it rise of entrepreneurship or rethink the incubation and entrepreneurship? We have got one vote for option B. Okay. Let's do the screen validation. If you see, this is the screenshot from the team Maverick, and he mentions the principles of Magda Jober. Philosophies for Children was known as RIE, Resources for Infant Educators. The educating approach believes parents and caretakers must have respect for infants and trust that they are natural inventors, explorers, and self learners. This is very, very, very critical because that is the philosophy it was believed upon, that we need to have respect for infants. So respect is very, very critical. Respect for infants and to acknowledge the fact that they are natural inventors, explorers, and self learners. Chirpur says infants should be viewed and spoken to in ways that allow them to be active participants in their daily lives. In her opinion, infants should be left to explore safe environments with little adult interaction. है ना? तो ये थोड़ा होना चाहिए. Now we are seeing a lot of terms like helicopter parenting and things like that. Okay. So the correct answer is resources for infant educators. So option B is the correct one, is rightly suggested by one of the learners. So the philosophy for children as RI is basically resources for infant educators. All right. So this is the correct answer. Well done. Okay. Now we are proceeding to our fourth question. Okay. What is the core function of See Together's proposed digital product? So we are trying to answer the core function. What is the core function? Is it to provide emotional support and companionship, or to translate text into speech and vice versa, or to connect visually impaired people with the sighted volunteers for assistance, or to offer resources and training programs? So you need to tell us the core function of the proposed digital product by Team See Together. We have already discussed it a couple of times. The initial few questions were about that only. I think it's a very direct question as compared to the previous one, which was about RIE. So let's see if you're able to crack it. The core function of See Together's proposed digital product. If you remember, it is so the hint is so I'm giving you the hint and you won't get the hint in your exam, okay? It was a mobile app, okay? It was a mobile application and you had to tell what was it about, okay? What was the core function? To provide emotional support and companionship, translate text into speech and vice versa, or to connect with visually impaired people with sighted volunteers, or to offer educational resources and training programs. Okay, so let's see the options one by one. See, educational resources and training programs was not something that was discussed in C together. It was more in terms of Team Maverick, where they're trying to uh, resources for infant educators. Okay, so this option doesn't make sense. Then comes to provide emotional support and companionship. So whatever digital product is, this can be a buy offering. So there is a primary offering. This could be like a secondary or a tertiary offering. This was not the core thing. Translate text to speech and vice versa. Again, this was one of the suggestions given by Professor Ashok Panvalkar. But then again, it was something which was more of a at a tertiary angle that it could be done. Okay. So tell me, what do you think is the correct answer for this? We have discussed the various options. The core function of C Together proposed digital product, and the digital product is basically a mobile application. So that is the hint which has been given to you. And we have discussed it in our content recap also. What was their main proposition? What was talked about? So think little and you'll be able to grab the correct answer. You've got one vote for option B. All right, we will have it. Okay, okay, let's do the state validation. All right. So if you see here, it is a mobile app, right? And you can actually see what the proposition is about. It is about bringing sight to blind and visually challenged. We aim to build an app that connects blind and low vision people with the sighted volunteers for visual assistance through a video call. Okay. So this is how they were trying to connect the two typology of people, one which is having low vision or visually impaired, visually challenged, and then the second set of people who are having sight. Okay, so the sighted volunteers will actually become the eyes for the blind and low vision people, right? So the correct answer is option C, which is to connect visually impaired people with the sighted volunteers who can actually see. So the correct answer is option C. All right. Okay, let's proceed with our third question. For the question raised by Professor P. Kaushik in lecture 26 on the top three reasons for stress among office people, employees, what was the response by the team? Spaced. Was it the long working hours? Was it people not having a change of space? Was it about less break time or no time for meals? You have to tell us top three reasons for stress among office employees. You got votes for long working hours, people not having a, sorry, this is not C, D. Okay. Less break time and no time for meals. All right. All right. Let's give some more time to people. Take some time. Let me know what could be the correct answer. One of the learners have suggested it to be AC and D, which is long working hours. People not having, sorry, less break time and no time for meals. We are trying to understand what Professor Purushottam Kaushik, P. Kaushik is Purushottam Kaushik. And top three reasons for the stress among office employees. What was the response by the teams faced? Okay. Let's do the screen validation since we already have votes for A, C, and D, which is long working hours, less break time, and no time for meals. Okay, so the question was identify the top three reasons for stress among office employees as per your understanding. It was four root causes, long working hours, people not having a change of space, less break time, and workload. Okay, long working hours, people not having a change of space, less break time, and workload. So these are the four options, of which if you see the three of them were mentioned. Okay, which were the three? Long working hours, people having not having the change of space, and less break time. Okay, so basically this was swapped with the workload. All right. So the correct answers for this question are option A, B, and C. It could have been option D if the choice given to you was workload. All right. You see here, it was the workload. Long working hours, people not having a change of space. What do you mean by that? It means that you are working in the same environment for a lot period of time, so which is affecting your work efficiency. A change of space, gives you a fresh perspective, right? It gives you a new sense of a joy of working. Then there was less break time because they were not getting the break times. They had to be around work because of the workload, so that was also there. Okay, so the correct answers are A, B, and C, which are the top reasons for stress. It could have been workload as well. So then all four options would have been correct. Okay, great. Let's move on to our sixth question. The project Minimart, okay, is about dash, which is the first blank, which allows kids to enjoy dash, which is the second blank, by creating a real time scenario of it works in everyday life. यहाँ पे how of how it works. Okay, my bad. The sentence is the project Minimart is about a dash which allows kids to enjoy dash by creating a real-time scenario of how it works in everyday life. So the options for the first blank are: is it a board game, mobile gaming app, shopping mall, and book? The second blanks, the options are mathematics, maths, English, purchases, and play. So basically, Minimart is about a board game which allows kids to enjoy maths, or Minimart is a mobile gaming app which allows kids to enjoy English. Minimart is about a shopping mall which allows kids to enjoy purchases. And option D, which is Minimart, is about a book which allows the kids to enjoy play. Okay, so these are the four options for you, and you have to tell me which is the correct one. Okay, again, it's a radio button question, so only one correct answer. Think about it, let me know. You're talking about the project Minimart, and we want to know it is about what? Obviously, something related to kids. That is the first hint. Okay, and which allows kids to enjoy what? The second hint is creating real time scenario. Real time scenario of how it works in the daily life. Everyday life. Okay. So we have got two blanks, the first blank and the second blank, and you have the options right in front of you. Board game, mobile gaming app, shopping mall, or book. The second option is mathematics, English, purchases, and play. So take some time, let me know what would be the right answer. One vote for option B. Okay. All right. All right. So the question is about Minimart project, which one of the teams was dealing with, and you need to tell us, what was it about, how it is related to the kids, and making them enjoy what by creating real-time scenarios. Okay. So one of the learners have given the option B, which is Minimart is about a mobile gaming app which allows kids to enjoy English by creating a real time scenario of how it works in everyday life. Okay. We will do the screen validation. Okay. So Minimart allows kids to enjoy maths by creating a real time scenario of how maths work in everyday life. Unlike other math board games, we focus on helping students enjoy maths by removing the pressure of formulas and numbers. So that is the first thing. Creating a real-time scenario which indirectly shows how we apply math in the real world. Math magic, teaching the application of formulas in real life, making the life of child easier. So this is how they are trying to be unique, unique from other available board games for maths. Okay. So Minimart is about enjoying maths by creating real-time scenario of how it works in everyday life. And they are different from the other board games is that it helps enjoy student maths by removing the pressure of formulas. So again, all these three aspects are equally important. A question might come from that as well. Okay. So you have to be vigilant about it. How is it different from the other math board games? Okay. So this question might also come. So the options would be by removing the pressure of formulas and numbers, by creating a real-time scenario which indirectly shows how we apply maths in the real world, and then math magic, which is making the life of child easier by teaching the applications of formulas in real life. Okay. So coming back to the question, some problem is happening. Correct answer is Minimart is about a board game which allows kids to enjoy maths by creating a real-time scenario of how it works in everyday life. Okay. Uh, okay. So the option A is the correct one. Is about a board game which allows kids to enjoy maths by creating a real-time scenario of how it works in everyday life. Okay. So we have to tell that the option A is the correct one. Okay. Now moving on our seventh question. What is the main function of focus focus headgear? Remember, it was a headgear. Options are play music for relaxation, monitor brain waves during meditation, create targeted tactile sensation for focus, and block out external noise. Okay, or you can say noise cancelling feature as well. What is the main function of focus focus headgear? So this is again another team project. Just like Maverick, Minimart, see together, Spaced, this is another project. You need to tell us the main function or the core function, right? It is about play music for relaxation, monitor brain waves during meditation, create targeted tactile sensations for focus, and block out the external noise. These are the four options. And you have just one correct answer, single correct answer to this question. We've got one vote for option B. All right. Uh, I'll give some more time for our learners. You need to tell us what are the main function of focus focus headgear. It was one of the teams, right? Is it about playing music for relaxation or monitoring the brain waves during meditation or creating a targeted tactile sensation for focus or to block out the external noise, right? Take a while and let me know what could be the correct answer. So give yourself some time. Really look into the content. Uh, uh, it's a little tricky question. It appears to be very direct, but then there's a small trick in this question. Take some time and let me know what could that answer. Let's do the screen validation. We've got enough time for this question. So, Hocus Focus is a headgear with targeted micro vibration to create tactile sensations for better focus during meditation. Now, here is the catch. Although it is about meditation, but it is regarding targeted micro vibration to create tactile sensation for better focus. Okay. Now that's the catch here because if you see the options, these are like trick options. Although it says meditation, but here it is mentioning monitor brain waves. There is no monitoring of brain waves happening. They are trying to create micro vibration to create tactile sensations. Okay. So it is about creating tactile sensations for focus, right? During meditation. So probably if you write during meditation, this would have would make more sense. Okay. But since Focus was about meditation, so our first, association would be that it is option B, but they are not monitoring the brain waves. Okay, it's critical to understand that they are not monitoring the brain waves. They are about creating a targeted tactile sensation for the focus. Okay. So answer is option C, which is create targeted tactile sensations for focus. Okay. So what do you mean by targeted tactile sensation? If you remember, this is how they were targeting. This is how it is moving. Let me take a different color and show you. Yeah. So it is guiding like this. Then there is sensation here. Then it will go here, here, and then it will pass on to here, 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 and then it will draw like this. So that is how they had planned that targeted sensations. Okay. The correct answer is option C, which is to create targeted tactile sensations. All right. Let's move to our eighth question. Referring to the module 11, which is the week 11's content, which among these are the important insights given by Professor Nakul as discussed in the Maverick project by Team 4? Okay. Now, Professor Nakul had also come and given certain feedback to this particular Team Maverick. The options are accommodate design to ensure that it adds value to the existing gameplay. The same idea can be pivoted where the game can be made more useful for special kids to accommodate the right kind of business pitch and implement strategies, and to accommodate the right kind of game to the right age group which instills their motor, cognitive, and analytical skills. Okay, we've got one vote for option A and one vote for option D. All right, all right. We'll take some more time. Let's see if anyone else would like to make a comment. All right. Let me reiterate the question. We are referring to the project Maverick. And what were the some important insights given by Professor Nakul? Okay. The options are to accommodate design to ensure that it adds value to the existing gameplay, whether the same idea can be pivoted where the game can be made more useful for special kids, to accommodate the right kind of business pitch and implement strategies accordingly, to accommodate the right kind of game for the right age group instills the motor, cognitive, and electrical skills. So we have got option A and option B as the correct choices. The choices are still open. Let's do the screen validation for this question. So these are the comments of Professor Nakul. If you are substituting the existing game, then there is already much competition. How would you define the opportunity, which is a eureka moment? If you are looking at complementing the existing game, then you have to accommodate your design to ensure that it adds value to the existing gameplay. You have to accommodate the right kind of game to the age group which instills motor, cognitive, and analytical skills. It is a very crowded market. There are two main models, subscription model and ownership model. You have to see the both options and accordingly find what is problem you're trying to cater to. There should be an array of games instead of one. Do you think your target market? And the same idea can be pivoted where the games can be made useful for special kids, right? So there are few other probable contenders for the correct answer. It is option A, which is to accommodate the design to ensure that it adds value to the existing gameplay. Option B as well, which is that the same idea can be pivoted where the game can be made useful for special kids. And option D, which is to accommodate the right kind of game to the right age group, right game to the right age group, which instills their motor, cognitive, and analytical skills. So the options given were correct. Option A, B, and D. So well done. Okay. So it is about adding value to the existing gameplay. Okay. It is also about the pivoting the game for special kids, and it is also about posing and accommodating the right kind of game to the right age group. Because age group really matters so that it instills the motor, cognitive, and theoretical skills. Let's proceed to our ninth question. As per the business thesis of Spaced, their service helps finding ways to make life dash stress free and keep them happy and satisfied while working. So we are questioning about the group Spaced and their offering is for whom? Is it the office employees? Is it for the domestic help? Is it for the women entrepreneurs or the factory workers? That you have to tell us. It's a very direct question. If you've gone through the content, it will be very, very easy to target this. So you've got one word for option. We are talking about the business thesis of Spaced. Their service helps finding ways to make life easier for whom? Stress free. Now, if you see each of the options, for that matter, are stressed, whether it is office employees, domestic health, women entrepreneurs, or factory workers. But they had a specific target audience, and you have to tell us what was that target audience for which the team Spaced was working about and have their business thesis upon. We are very close towards completing our set of 10 questions. So please be patient. We are coming close towards our closure. The question is about team Spaced, and you need to tell us what was their target audience, what was the target group for which they were trying to provide a service, as a business thesis? Was it the office employees, domestic helps, women entrepreneurs, or the factory workers? So you've got one vote for option A, which is the office employees. The other options are domestic help, women entrepreneurs, and factory workers. Let's do the screen validation. It's a very direct question, so we not take much of a time. So this is the business thesis of Spaced Team, which is helps finding ways to make life for office employees stress free and make them happy and satisfied while working, who belong to focus group or work at odd hours in the offices to increase their efficiency of work and better productivity in the offices and reduce the chances of errors by the employees. Unlike just buying something for few employees, organizing events and managing. So if you see, question might come up from this as well, who belong to focus group or work at odd hours. So that is also critical. Okay. And to increase their efficiency and productivity. So this is also critical. So although we have been able to identify the correct answer, which is office employees, but it's also important to understand who this user group is, who belongs to focus groups and work at odd hours in the offices. So the question might come from this aspect as well. So the correct answer to this question is to make life for office employees stress free. Okay. So well done. This is the correct answer. So as a blanket rule, I would say that for every student project, you can just note down what was their user group, target audience, and their business thesis. At least have this particular slide available for each of the groups. Okay. If you have this, then probably you'll be able to crack any question which is pertaining to the project. All right. It will be very, very helpful for you. Now let's arrive on to our last question of the day. This is the question number 10. Complete the following sentence as mentioned by Professor A. Narasimha, referring to the Minimart project. The solution of your product will flow from dash the customer segment, which will arise from more research and understanding. So you need to tell what is this blank about. Remember, this is Professor Anuradhan Narasimha is referring to the Minimart project, which was about math board game, right? That is the hint. The solution of your project will flow from dash the customer segment. Is it will the product? The solution of the product will flow from defining the customer segment, pivoting the customer segment, pinpointing the customer segment, or validating the customer segment. Okay, so we have already got one word for option D, which is validating. But we'll wait for a couple of minutes to understand how others are trying to seeing this thing. The context is Minimart project, which is about making maths more enjoyable in the form of a game by introducing real-time scenarios. And she says that the solution of your project should flow from dash the customer segment. Is it about defining the customer segment, pivoting it, pinpointing it, or validating it? We've got one word for option D, which is validating. The other options are defining, pivoting, and pinpointing. Okay, let's see the screen validation. Now, she spoke a lot on their proposition, like the problem resonated with me, articulation is very good, aspects are very good. Think about who is the pinpoint customer. Define the school grades and economic status. Sustainable products are usually expensive. If the child is from standard 1 to 3 and then the parent is the buyer, the child is from 4 standard and above, they are the buyer. The solution of a product will flow from pinpointing the customer, which will arise from more research and understanding, also from the understanding of existing alternatives. All right. So here the answer lies between the lines. And then there were few other aspects which she mentioned, like are you teaching math or you're supplementing math? What do you do for your customer understanding? For a product to be successful, it has to be relevant and differentiated. And then think about the many barriers you want to break. But the answer lies on this aspect of pinpointing customer, which will arise from more research and understanding. All right. So the correct answer is about pinpointing the customer segment, which is option number C. Okay. The blank is about pinpointing the customer segment. All right. So now we end our set of 10 questions. This has been the questions by discussion forum. There has been no new questions. We'll have a look once again once we close this session. Yes, this has been the update up till now. We'll keep the annotations. What we'll do is we'll quickly try to first save the PDF because that is something which we quickly upload, preferably during the session itself, because that's how uh, we ensure the transparency of how the content has been moving ahead. So the file is getting saved in PDF. Meanwhile, it is happening. Let's just open up. Yeah, let me sign in and show you the content. This is the entire login screen flow. I think if you have been consistent, you'll be able to see that is perfectly fine. Yeah. So this was the announcement for the problem solving session. I am hoping that the announcement will also come for the extra session which we have scheduled for tomorrow. It has not come up till now, but I'll just try to ensure. But those who are there in the call, I would tell you that there is a session tomorrow. Uh, and we'll try to have it. Okay. So now week 12 content is also up. Let me first open the quiz of week 11. In the week 11, you can see the deadline is 9th of April. So you still have 4 days to attempt this. It's always good to attempt these questions and keep a note of the correct answers once the content is released, right? If you come on to a week 12, the week 12 content is already opened by now. Again, these are the remaining set of presentations by IIT Hyderabad and the students. If you see, the content is of around 2 hours. That has been the average. And
From all
the
these inputs
students are presenting
back.
the various aspects of their thing, and they're getting the feedback from the experts. And you will also have additional learning materials from week 12, which is this particular thing about Ratan Tata, who is actually guiding the young startups. And then you have the week 12 assignment quiz. So this quiz is there. Yeah. Yeah. So week 12 quiz, the deadline is 16th. So we'll also be meeting once again. I'll just show how it goes about. And then these are the different repositories and resources which you can actually refer to. The more specific ones are problem solving sessions. So when we survey here, I would request those who are consistent, please share your feedback because this will really help me and the NPTEL team. So you can click here and you can share your feedback for these sessions. And then these are the various download sections, repositories for transcripts, study material, and lecture notes. So all these are also available. This is the problem solving session link, and if you click here, you'll be able to see all the repositories. And soon I'll be updating data for the week 11 content. And as you can see, there is a section for the extra session as well, which will be happening tomorrow. We'll be starting at 3 p.m. and it will be a 1 hour session. So I would request you to join in for that session as well. And that session video as well as the PDF will also be uploaded, right? So that is also there. Coming back to this, I think I'll just stop sharing the screen. All right. So once again, thanks a lot for joining in. We have discussed the set of 10 questions. We have discussed the content recap. Uh, Also about the extra session which is happening tomorrow. So please be aware and be noted about the session tomorrow because it will be a 1 hour session and it is primarily focused about certain aspects about your examination. Obviously, what we'll be telling you about that examination thing is also there in the announcement section. But then it's always good to be to have a recap about it and somebody telling you. So that will be there. So with that, we end today's session. Thank you so much for being there, for being consistent, for being good learners, and I wish you all the luck, all the best for your final examination. We'll be meeting twice more times, which is tomorrow and probably the next Saturday, and then we'll be closing this particular course. Right? If anybody has any suggestions, any comments, we are open now, or else we'll close the session. Okay, then. Thank you so much. Thank you for being there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So now we have closed the meeting. What we'll do is we'll just quickly check if the PDF has been generated. The PDF is generated, yes. This is the PDF. What we'll do is we'll quickly upload it in our repository, uh, which is this. Open up this drive location. So we have got content from week 1 to week 10. We'll upload for the week 11. All right, so week 11 is done. I'll just turn off the camera and share a few words and we'll close them. Okay, so thank you so much for joining in. And as we are closing this session today, which is the week 11 session, one more session we'll be having, which is for the week 12. But other than that, we'll be having an extra session tomorrow, uh, for which I believe the notification will surely go very quickly. It will be a 1 hour session, and I request you to join in so that you get and be aware of what are the different aspects to ensure about your final examination. Right. With that, we can close our day today. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope you are learning a lot. You are preparing for your final examination as well. And let's meet once again tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Bye. And namaste.